I'm Dorothy Buchanan Wilson, International President, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Welcome to Conversations. We're here on this episode with Soror Qristyl Frazier of Qristyl Frazier Designs. Soror Qristyl has taken the fashion world by storm, from the Steve Harvey Show to QVC to Project Runway Season 6. Please remember the name Soror Qristyl Frazier. Soror Qristyl, welcome to Conversations.
Thank you, Madam Supreme, for having me.
Thank you so much. You are one of the top up-and-coming designers, and we've read that you said that at the age of 15 you started sewing. Now, did you have your aha moment in terms of when you wanted to become a designer at that moment when you started to sew?
Actually, I started sewing in high school. It was a curriculum to actually take a typing class. The typing class was full, so I had the opportunity to either take cooking classes or sewing. I took sewing.
Now, I understand that your style of fashion is known as plus sexy.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Women with curves that are full figure, they don't really like to go into the shops or the stores or the boutiques and say, oh, I'm gonna go to the plus size division. That's fine, they have to go there anyway. However, I just thought women would feel better shopping on my website that's online to feel good about themselves. So when they come to my website, it's all about plus sexy. And plus sexy is about feeling good, feeling confident in your clothes, in your own skin. So plus sexy could be if you're top heavy or maybe if you're bottom heavy. It's just really feeling good about yourself. So I've coined the phrase as plus sexy.
Your advice is very practical, and I guess that stems from you being a Midwesterner. I understand that you are from St. Louis, so please tell us, how did you end up in the Big Apple from St. Louis, Missouri?
Sure, I attended Stevens College where I graduated and studied fashion design. My very, very good friend, Laya LaFleur, who's also my soror, of course, she called me up one day. I was in St. Louis. I was just hanging out with my boyfriend, and she calls me and goes, what are you doing in St. Louis? You're supposed to be in New York. That's the fashion capital of the world. And, you know, honestly, I guess I had someone that really, really believed in me, and she was there, and I had an opportunity to just get there. I had like $500 from doing some sewing jobs. I don't even remember packing. I just remember arriving and being there.
We often say in the sorority that Alpha Kappa Alpha women not only make sure that they follow their path, but they help others to follow their path. And it sounds as if through your sorority affiliations,
yes,
you were able to go to the city where dreams are made, but more importantly, the fashion capital of the universe,
yes,
and get a good start. You started out as a fashion designer. Now you have your own line. So tell us a little bit more about Qristyl Frazier Designs, and what do you see next?
Okay, well, it wasn't so easy. Just coming to New York and being a fashion designer, I worked for different companies. You know, I had a lot of growing pains along the way. But what I did most of all was I didn't really like the companies I was working for because I wanted to be this big designer. I always had this big dream of being a designer. I would be on my lunch hour going down to the fabric store because most all the companies were in the garment district. And I would, all of a sudden, someone would hear about me being a designer. Oh, you're making clothes. Can you make clothes for so-and-so? So, you know, I would go to the fabric stores, or maybe I'm walking past a shop window and I see a piece of fabric, and I would just run in on my lunch hour and get that fabric. And after I finish work, my father always says, well, you know, you have to work your 9 to 5, but when you get off of work, your real job starts with what it is that you're doing. And every time I would come home every night and I would create some designs, I didn't know who they would go on or what I would do with it, but I have some really good stories where, you know, one time I created this really fabulous leather skirt. It was a patchwork leather skirt. I didn't know that skirt would end up on Wendy Williams. I didn't know that it would end up on the Jay Leno show with Angie Stone and her band. So it was just me pretty much building a foundation at that time.
Right. And you spoke about pursuing your passion, but more importantly, one of the things we know you for is the fact that you are among the first. You burst into the runway with Project Runway season 6, as well as BET Rip the Runway. I believe it was in 2006 with plus size fashions. We hadn't seen that, and so just like other Alpha Kappa Alpha women who were pioneers, you were a pioneer in that area. So please tell us about what that was like and where does those experiences lead you?
Absolutely. In 2006, that was pretty amazing. I was invited by BET's Rip the Runway, and that's pretty much really where it really started to pick things up for me. BET came to me and said, hey, we're doing a plus size segment. Would love for you to, we've heard you do plus size. Really, I was doing clothes for really all size women, no matter size or shape. If you heard about me and you wanted me to dress you and put some great fitting clothes on you, I would do it. So BET came to me and they were having this big show. I didn't realize the show was as big as it was until after the show was over. After that after I showed my Qristyl Frazier Designs collection, I received more than 150,000 hits on my website. But my site wasn't really ready to take orders. I would remember at that time I was just doing custom orders. I had people emailing me, calling, saying, we want those clothes, we want those clothes. Well, I just had pictures of what you just saw on the runway. Well, people wanted the clothing. So I really learned my lesson, like, hey, this is really a serious, there are women out there of all walks of life in different sizes and shapes, and they want your clothing. That's where I started to begin to build my foundation. I said, well, you know what? I came up with that phrase, plus sexy, in 2006. And even to this day, I still get people and customers that say, hey, I saw your clothes back in 2006, 2008, and 2012 on BET. And because when you go on my website, we ask the question, hey, how did you hear about, the collection? And BET was a pretty big one. And then with Project Runway. The reason why I wanted to do Project Runway is because I was always at home, working from home, making clothes, draping clothes on my mannequins, walking past my couch saying, what am I going to do with that piece of cloth on my fabric? I love it, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And next thing you know, it became something very, very beautiful. And when I tried out for Project Runway, I tried out 4 times and I didn't make it, but I kept going. I'm not a quitter. You don't quit if it's something that's in your heart and in your gut, and you come from St. Louis to New York, you just don't give up. And I'm like, I belong on this show. Plus, that was my way of saying, this is a way I can promote and advertise and let the world know that, hey, I'm a designer. I'm out here just not making clothes, but I'm making clothes for women with curves that need my clothes. They need great fitting clothes and they need fashionable clothing. Plus sexy size women who are 14, 18, 20, they want to look fashionable like the women that are a size 6, that are a size 4, but you have to have clothes that know how to look, that looks right on the right body type.
Absolutely. What's next for your line, and what's next for you personally? And you talk about resilience. What's your next big move?
Okay. Well, I've been growing my business for a long time, and I have a pretty good track record of working with quite a few celebrities. But when people hear about my brand, they are excited because they know about me, they've learned about me. My clothes are also available on Amazon.com. I was very excited about that. Amazon called me, I didn't call them.
Now tell us how to spell Qristyl.
Okay, Qristyl is actually Qristyl. The style came because I used to be a stylist along the way, and I knew that my name would be in lights. I was determined to have my name as a designer in lights. I couldn't change the name. I love my name that my mom gave me, but I wanted it to stand out. So it's Qristyl, Qristyl, and that's how you can find me on the website. And what's next for me is I would like to open up a few boutiques. I'm courting Macy's right now. I wasn't Lane Bryant before, and I'm courting a couple of other stores. I really need to bring the brand to the market, and the market meaning into some major department stores, because it is needed. And I've gotten to the point where we ship all over the world, all over the country, and women just want to know how they can look good and feel good in the clothes and the skin that they're in.
Tell us about living fearlessly, and how do you live fearlessly?
I just do what I love. I don't quit. I have a team of friends, such as Laya. She's a really big cheerleader for me, my mom. And I can't quit doing what I'm doing until I reach the top. And, you know, that's what you have to keep striving. You reach a goal and you keep going and you keep going. I've come too far to, you know, it is a very hard business, but I truly love what I'm doing. Just going back from high school and taking that sewing class, I didn't know that that was going to lead me into a designer. At that time, at 15, 16 years old, I didn't even know that that's what it was. I just remember asking my teacher, Miss Jefferson, who I'm still in contact with today. I said to her, I don't want to do these Butterick or Vogue patterns anymore. She's like, oh, well, you want to be a designer. Well, that sounded awesome to me. And so now I'm a designer. So I live fearlessly because I remember my story, I remember my struggles, and I know that there's so many women out there that really do need me and want great clothes, because the average woman is a size 14. And she hates when she cannot find clothing that fits her hips or go over her shoulders. I get customers that come to my website, they'll order one, they'll come back and they'll tell their friend will tell their friends, or they'll buy two of something. And it makes me feel good. And people often ask me, oh, where do you get your inspiration? My inspiration comes from real women that need real clothes.
Good. Sorry, Qristyl, thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam
being here with us
Supreme.
on Conversations.
Thank you.
Continue, certainly, your excellent work, but more importantly, continue to design clothes for real women.
That's right.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Great. And thank you
Oh,
for joining.
I'm
Go
so
ahead.
sorry.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
how could I forget?
Oh, my word.
I have something for you. A little plus sexy Qristyl Frazier Designs gift as well.
Thank you, Soror Qristyl.
You're welcome.
Look forward to wearing it. Thank you again, and thank you for joining us on Conversations, where we have Soror Qristyl Frazier of Qristyl Frazier Designs. Please look for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.